Hello all, I'm Sai and in today's video I want to talk about 10 books which I want to reread very badly. So the idea behind this video is that ever since 2025 started, in these past 6 months, I have been reading a lot of physical books from my physical TBR itself, which feels very freeing and liberating for me. But while doing that, I also see that I'm not going back and giving the time that some of the favorite books of mine from the past deserve. I'm saying this in specific because these 10 books in specific have helped me understand a lot more about my own reading tastes and what I'm looking forward to in the books that I read. There are also some of these books which make me go back and find stories which are similar to them because that's the kind of things that I want to experience and just consume more of. I don't think I have reread most of the books that I'm going to talk about in this video, but there are a few which I have reread before also. If you've read any of these 10 books which I want to reread, please do tell me down in the comments because I want to gush over them with someone who has read it and loved it as much as I do. So without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. The first book in this video is quite an easy guess because this is my most favorite book of all time. I have even talked about it in many videos before, and it is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which is a YA contemporary novel. This is basically about the life story or a slice of life story of our main character Frances and her friend Avid. What all happens in just like a year in their life is what we see here. It is very, very close to my heart. It resonates with me so hard. I just relate with this main character on so many different levels. I first read Radio Silence in January 2022. And after I finished Radio Silence in the January of 2022, until now, 3.5 years now, I've not read one book which is better than this for me. And the best part is that I read Radio Silence just after I got caught up with Heartstopper. I read Heartstopper on Webtoon. I just loved Heartstopper so much because everyone loves Heartstopper, right? It's beautiful. It's so cozy, cute, and just something which everyone needs. But after reading Heartstopper, I had already had this on my shelf for a couple of months before. I went forward and started reading this book and it just swept me off my feet. There's nothing extraordinary about this story. It is very, very simple. It is just things happening between friends and especially Frances and Avid. Despite all those things, it is extremely close to my heart. I have read this 2 times already and I want to reread it multiple times in the future also. I want to have multiple editions of this book too in different formats, but I just have this one copy because all the other formats of this book for some reason are so effing expensive. But yeah, of all the books that I've read so far, Radio Silence is my most favorite and it is the one which I also want to reread the most. The next book is a legendary one. Okay, it's definitely a legendary one. I've just read this once. It's been 5.5 years since I read it for the first time. I've not read it. I have recommended it to so many people. I made my brother read it. He obviously loved it so much because, no one cannot not love this book. And it is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Jenkins Reid. It's a historical fiction plus romance, I can say, and the way in which Jenkins Reid has written Evelyn Hugo here is nothing short of legendary. I don't know why Hollywood has not made a movie out of Evelyn Hugo so far, okay? I think the book was published way back in 2016. It's going to be 10 years since it was published. We've even had multiple editions of the book published until now, but not even one adaptation of it. It will also be super difficult to make an adaptation of this one and do justice for Evelyn Hugo because Jenkins Reid has written her so well. It's basically about the life story of this actress named Evelyn Hugo and her most famous 7 divorces. And despite the title of the book being The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, it's not about the 7 people whom she married, but this one woman who is Evelyn Hugo herself. It's brilliant and I don't know who can even pull off playing Evelyn Hugo on screen because she has kind of a cult following, okay? She's not real, but she has a cult following. I'm one of them though. I want to go back, reread this, annotate it like a crazy person and just enjoy each and every page of it. So we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Jenkins Reid. Next we have the only non-fiction book in this list, and this is also the one book which has changed my life the most, and it is How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. It's a self-help book. It's a psychology book, but it's very, very accessible. Anyone can go forward and read it. In this book, the author basically talks about trauma from her childhood as well as our adult life and how it has shaped us to be the person whom we are and how we can go forward and start our healing journey just by ourselves. It is incredibly well written. It is very, very interactive. The author's writing is just out of the world. I read this for the first time in 2021 and I've tried rereading it ever since then. You can see I have like a bookmark here just inside the book because for some reason I've not been able to progress on from that point where I finished reading the book back then. It's definitely one book which has changed my life. It has made me understand myself better. It has made me understand my past life better. Past life means not, before this birth or anything. Only the time in my life before I read this book. Again, one book which I have made multiple people read, which I've even gone forward and presented to some people whom I care about in life. There are hardly like 3 to 4 people whom I've presented this book to, and I know it can change lives if read like that. So yeah, we have How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. Next, we have one book which I loved very much, but the reason why I want to go back and reread this book is because I remember I was astonished after I finished reading this for the first time. But thinking back now, I don't remember most of it because it was very masterfully written. Okay, it just traverses through time. It's not fantastical. It is realistic. It's a genre blending book. It has so many different layers to it, and it is Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. I have not read the author's most popular book, which is All the Light We Cannot See, but I have read this one. It's quite huge. It will take a little bit of time to read because we don't just follow one single story here. We follow the same story, but happening in different parts of time, in different regions of the world, which are connected somehow in so many different ways. And it's basically a book about love, war, and just the joy of reading and stories. Once you finish reading the book, you'll be able to understand and appreciate this cover very much because I just get the vibes of the book really well from just seeing this cover. Again, one book which I want to annotate heavily because the author's writing here is just gorgeous. The first time around, I just read this book very fast with the audiobook, but this time I want to slowly take it in. I want to read it physically and, just enjoy each and every chunk of the story. So we have Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. Next, we have an adult romance book, and I think this is the one adult romance which I've enjoyed the most reading because it is so fun. Okay, it is quite political, but it's also very, very fun, and it is Red, White and Royal Blue by Caasey, McQuiston. And another reason why I want to reread this book compared to any of the other romance books that I've read so far is because this year only, in the past few months, I've read the other 2 books by the author, which are One Last Stop and I Kissed Sarah Wheeler, and I enjoyed the vibes of both of those books very, very much. I like the humor in them. I like the romance in them. I like the way in which the story is grounded, at the same time takes a little bit of a leap of faith, or leap of hope to be even more precise. It's the same here too. It is not something which is realistic, okay, but it can happen in the real world. And most of all, I like the writing of the author very much because it is so much fun to read. I've seen the same writing style of them being followed in the other 2 books too. I've not read their recent release, which released last year, I think, and I read this one also way back in 2021. I think it was in February 2021 or something, but I don't remember it properly now. I knew that the book was popular, but I did not know that it was this good too, so I did not go forward and annotate it. But this time I'm sure that I will be annotating the book because I know how good it is. I know how good the dialogues in this book are, and since we also got the sequel announcement for the movie, for which the book is not even there, I want to go back and reread the book and experience the story from its core again. And I'm very, very sure that I'll have so much fun reading this book. It is just joy. So I want to read Red, White and Royal Blue by Caasey, McQuiston. The next book is a Booker Prize winner, and I read this last year in 2024, which is The 7 Moons of Maali Almeida by Shehan Karunatilaka, who's a Sri Lankan author. And this is the first book that I've read by a Sri Lankan author and first story that I have read happening in Sri Lanka. It was beautiful. It is terrifying. It is quite confusing to read because of the way in which the author narrates the story. At the same time, it is extremely masterfully written. In this book, we basically follow the story of Maali Almeida's life, but it is seen by us with him when he is a ghost after his death. He's been murdered, and his ghost has this knowledge of a cache of photos that he has taken, which has the power to change the political landscape of Sri Lanka. So Maali has the time of 7 days to go forward and retrieve the cache of photos by informing his loved ones in their dream to go forward and do it. Whether he's able to do that or not is what we see here. It is super dark. It is very brutal. At the same time, very, very beautifully written. It is written in second person's point of view. So when you're reading the book, it feels like the story is happening to you, and it's quite breathtaking. Okay, it's very, very beautiful. Makes use of so many different layers and aspects of life and shows truth as such without, trying to weave it in a way that is presentable to the world. You can see that the cover of the book is beautiful yet quite abstract, right? The story is also just like that. It is very beautiful but quite abstract. The way in which the author has narrated it is just out of the world. I want to go forward and reread this. And again, when I reread this book, trust me, the annotations here with the tabs will be just as colorful as this cover. The next 2 are books which I just read this year in January and February, if I'm not wrong, of which the first one is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is by far one of my most favorite books from 2025, and I want to read more books by Ashley Poston as well as reread this as many times as I want because I just love the vibes of this book more than anything, okay? The writing of the author is beautiful. It is something which is very much up my alley. It is easy to read. It just flows very well, but the kind of ambience that she has built for this book is just great. I love the love story here because it happens between a human being and a ghost, which might sound creepy for some people, but trust me, when you read the story, you'll just see the love there. There's no creepiness. It will not make you feel weird or anything. It will just be so much fun. The way in which she describes the main character as well as the ghost is just great, and if you're a book lover, trust me, this book is for you. Okay, this book is written for us book lovers. We have to go forward, embrace this book, make it so much popular that people feel like they are forced to read this book because it is that good. Again, did not know that this book would be that great, so did not annotate it. Again, when I go forward and reread this book, trust me, it will have all shades of pink here. It will be 50 shades of pink. It might sound like I'm exaggerating. Let it be. I don't care. I just loved reading this book so much for the first time and I want to experience the same thing all over again. So we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. So the next book is yet another book of mine from this year and it is The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. I think I read this one and The Red Romantics back to back if I'm not wrong. And I don't know how I got so lucky to read two books about books that were so beautifully written in the same month, in the same week even if I'm not wrong. Now in this book we follow the story of three characters, okay? Two women and a man. One man and woman are from the current time here now, and the other woman is from the time during the First or Second World War. How their stories connect, and there is this bookshop which keeps on disappearing. How it helps them is all we see here. It is fantastical, it is historical, it is beautiful, it is literary, it is beautifully feminist, and the writing of the author will just transport you to the worlds in which the book is happening. And by the worlds, I'm meaning the Lost Bookshop as well as the times during which the book is taking place, the present day as well as the past. It is quite white, so that was a bit boring for me. But apart from that, I think it was really, really beautifully written. If I'm not wrong, the author has two more books published so far. I want to go forward and read them too. I think I will reread this book after I finish reading them sometime as soon as possible. It is a little bit big also, so it might take a bit more time for me to read. But I want to go forward and reread this. It's also a floppy paperback. So if you're someone who's a book lover, you're probably a book lover. If you're watching this video, go forward and read this book. You'll definitely not be disappointed. Next, we have a YA fantasy book. It's a standalone and it is Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar, in which we follow our main character Sheetal, who's half human and half star. Her father gets abducted to Spargaloka because of some things and Sheetal has to go there. Because of some reason, Sheetal's father goes very, very ill and in order to save him, she needs pure star blood. In order to get that, she goes to Spargaloka along with one of her friends and tries to bring it back down to earth. Whether she's successful in doing that or not is what we see here, and it is such a sweet story, okay? It is not high stakes. It is not something out of the world. It is very grounded, very rooted, something that cannot happen, yet it will just bind us to the world really, really well. Don't go in with very high expectations for this book, okay? Just keep in mind that it is going to be a nice story. You're going to love it and you're just going to let it go. It's something like that. It's not something you feel astonished by each and every time you go and read, but it feels like home. Okay, you go back there. You want to go back there and experience it over and over again. It is emotional. It has pans of emotion here and there, but the sweetness of the story is what I liked about it very much. Many people have said so many mixed reviews of this book, but for me, it is something which is super sweet. And for that itself, I want to reread this one and also all the other books by the author. The final book in this list is a sci-fi book and it is The Martian by Weir. I read The Martian in 2023 and I did not have that great expectations. I have not watched the movie. I have not watched the movie yet, but I just had such a fun blast reading this book because it is extremely funny, okay? Even the plot of the book is very eccentric if you ask me. A group of astronauts go to Mars in order to do some research and because of a storm that happens there, they end up leaving one of their astronauts and getting back to Earth. And this astronaut who is there, he's trying to live his own life and keep himself alive with the meager supplies that he has. What all is going to happen after this is the plot of the book. It is super intelligent, super funny, very witty. It will make you keep guessing what's going to happen because who among us has gone and lived in Mars before? No one has. Like maybe some people will in the future, but at present no one has. We just see the main character's journey there and he's extremely humorous, extremely humorous. I'm sure that anyone who reads this book will not be able to control their laughter because he's just so effing funny. I want to experience that fun again. I want to experience that unpredictability again. And I just want to laugh out loud reading this book all over again. So yeah, because of that reason, we have The Martian by Weir. So yes guys, those are the 10 books which I want to reread very badly. Please tell me down in the comments whether you have read any of these books, whether you want to reread them or if you feel like you want to read them after me talking about them in this video. And if you have any such books which you want to reread, please do tell me that also down in the comments because if you want to read a book more than one, it means that you like it very much and I usually get really great book recommendations from you guys. I want to know such books from you, so don't forget to let them down in the comments. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.